Can you do this? As early as your 40s, you may lose muscle and strength. Protein supports muscle health. Ensure Max Protein has 30 grams of high-quality protein to feed your muscles up to 7 hours. So take the challenge. Ensure.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Malia Bryant. A special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Outrage grows over Granville police shooting. Golding demands tabling of FLA investigative report. And later in sports, Mount Pleasant and Montego Bay United lead their semi-final ties in Jamaica Premier League.
Thank you for joining us. Now the details. Tensions remain high in Granville, St. James as the demand for swift action and justice after the fatal shooting of a female resident by a policeman grows. Residents burned debris and blocked the roads in the area this morning. When our news team arrived in the community, firefighters were seen extinguishing the blaze, which had been set at one point. Interestingly, the streets were empty with the exception of the police personnel who are now keeping guard in the event of a major flare-up. In the meantime, Jamaicans for Justice JFJ has joined in the calls for greater accountability and oversight following Sunday's incident. Anthony Atkinson has the details.
The closed-circuit surveillance video showing the moment Latoya Bulgin, otherwise called Buju, was fatally shot by a policeman Sunday has since gone viral, with the JCF facing widespread criticism about the conduct of officers who were on duty. In a police report obtained by our news center, officers reported that the now-deceased woman was dropping off protesters in the Granville Square. A demonstration, the report says, was unauthorized. Bulgin, who was driving a black Toyota Voxy, was stopped by a constable who informed her that her vehicle was unlicensed and that it would be seized. In response, she alleged to have said, quote, "Me vehicle not seized today, but rather run this over one and kill you no today." And as she attempted to drive away, the constable discharged one round in the direction of the vehicle. Bulgin was struck by the bullet. Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice Michael Jackson is questioning whether the level of force used was proportionate to the threat faced, stressing that lethal force should only be used when there is an immediate threat to life.
Because without the availability of that CCTV footage, we would not be in the position to even be having this conversation. And we would not perhaps have seen the JCF High Command responding while respecting the necessity of the investigation, placing that officer on interdiction. So again, it really brings into sharp focus the importance of, the independent footage, the evidence of what happens in these fatal shootings.
The JFJ is again calling for the full implementation of body-worn cameras, arguing that such devices are critical in providing transparency and clear evidence in fatal shooting investigations.
We're not seeing where there was the preservation of the crime scene and allowing the independent investigators to arrive at the scene to see how the body was positioned and so on. And I bring it a step further. When you look at the footage and you see the woman's body just being hauled in the street and then thrown in the back of the service vehicle, then it raises questions about the dignity of person and how we treat even those who the officers may in their judgment deem to be dead.
The police constable was interdicted, but the Granville Peace, Justice and Resource Development Foundation believes all officers directly involved in the operation should be removed from frontline duty pending the outcome of the investigation. The fatal shooting came exactly 1 week after another controversial shooting in Granville, where a 17-year-old male was shot and killed by police. The 43-year-old deceased woman was among those who'd been protesting against that incident. She's said to be a well-known businesswoman and a mother of two. Anthony Atkinson, TVJ News.
And the opposition People's National Party (PNP) is calling for a transparent and independent investigation into Sunday's fatal shooting of a woman in Granville, St. James. Opposition spokesperson on national security Fitz Jackson says while the interdiction of the officer involved is a necessary first step, it is not enough to repair what he describes as a growing breakdown in trust between citizens and the police.
We cannot keep losing citizens during interactions with the law enforcement officers who are paid to protect them and all of us Jamaicans. Regrettably, too many innocent and law-abiding citizens are becoming almost as fearful of the police as they are of criminals. This cannot be allowed to continue in our country.
He is urging the police to take all actions necessary to ensure calm in the area.
I urge the JCF leadership to immediately deploy community relations teams to Granville to de-escalate tensions and reassure residents who are rightfully on edge and is fearful of their lives.
Amid threats of protest action by public passenger vehicle operators, a meeting is now underway at the Halfway Tree Transport Center. The operators are expected to be addressed by Finance Minister Fable Williams as well as Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. PPV operators have been clamoring for a fair adjustment. Mr. Vaz says the government is sensitive to the challenges facing them, including the burden of increased fuel costs. The government in 2023 approved a 35% fare hike, but only 19% was implemented, with the remaining 16% outstanding.
Can you do this? As early as your 40s, you may lose muscle and strength. Protein supports muscle health. Ensure Max Protein has 30 grams of high-quality protein to feed your muscles up to 7 hours. So take the challenge. Ensure.